And I want to say thank you for coming out this morning, and thank you for taking time out of your Saturday. We try not to keep you too long on these training days because we want to make it fun, impactful, effective, and that way we can take what we're learning, take what we're hearing as a ministry, as a church, and go and make it that much better. Because we want to we're not too concerned about getting bigger, we're just concerned about making it better. Because once you make it better, the demand for it to be bigger will happen. So always think with that mentality, how can I make it better? How can I make it better in my area where I serve at? How can I make it better? Don't worry about bigger, but better. But better. And today I wanted to just talk about our vision, kind of just re-energize us, recharge us, refuel us for what the coming months will entail. And I've already taught this in our staff meetings, so our staff has already heard this before. So any staff members, just kind of look like you're interested as I'm talking. But today I wanted to kind of, like I just said, kind of relayer what our vision is all about. And of course, our vision is to lead people to Jesus Christ no matter the cost. Let me hear you say it. There we go, to lead people to Jesus Christ no matter the cost. And we focus that effort in three areas. We focus that area in three areas. The first area is our weekend experiences. Now, we kind of got away from calling it church services because I'm just so non-traditional, and I don't like being traditional in any aspect of the word. And we kind of stopped calling them church services. Now we call them experiences. Like come when you invite someone to church, to New Hope Now, say, you should come to one of our experiences, because then that puts in their mind, well, what do you mean experience? What's going on? Because church service it's been called that for so long that when you say that to someone, they know what to expect. But when people come into New Hope, we don't want them to know what to expect, because we work very, very diligently to create an atmosphere, to create an environment for you and for the people that you're serving when they come in to have just that, to have an experience. So we've started calling them experiences, and it's important because you might think, well, why does it matter that we call them experiences? I mean, it's just another word. Well, it shows that we're all on the same page and we're speaking the same verbiage, because that matters in a movement. We all have to be communicating with the same verbiage. We all have to be communicating the same vision. We have to all know the same core values, so it all matters. All right, so our weekend experiences is one leg that we focus on. Our next one, of course, is life groups. We focus on life groups. If you're not in a life group, you should be in one, and we're going to have another group link coming up in the coming months, and we're going to put more people into life groups because we're moving towards that as a church. That is our discipleship strategy for our church, is to get in a life group, and that's how you grow. Our third aspect that we focus on is community connect. So we have our weekend experiences, our life groups, and community connect. Community connect is not just another event that we do. It's not another team that we've created here at New Hope International. That is one of three areas that we as the church, as servant leaders, are focusing on. So anytime you hear us from the stage say, we have another community connect opportunity coming up for you to serve in, for you to donate to give to, because we have different items that we need brought in for different things that we do around the community for people. That's just not for Linda Thomas and her team. She is the staff member that oversees Community Connect, but we as a church need to rally behind it and understand that that is a part of our vision. That is what we are here to do. It's one of three things. And we're focusing the church so much that we have to say no to a few things. And we have to say no to certain things, because if it doesn't come under our vision and it doesn't push our vision forward, then all it's going to do is weaken it. Okay? So those three areas, focus and come back to one thing that we desire to see, and that is life change. We desire to see life change, and that's how we focus our mindsets, how we focus all of our ministries, to go back to that one thing, and that's life change. And it's on the videos you see. Some of you have made some of those and given your story on videos that we've shown to the church, and thank you so much for doing that. It's made a huge difference. People are always telling our media team, and those videos are great. Keep doing them. We just love them. We love to hear them. So you may be the next person we ask to share your story on a video. And when we do, be bold about it. Just be, it's your time to share what God's done in your life here at New Hope International. And that could change someone else's life just by your boldness to stand up and say, this is where I've been, This is where I've came from, but thank God he didn't keep me there, and this is what God has done for me here at New Hope International, and this is my life change. And that's what we love to hear. We love hearing those life change stories. And that's what those three things go back to. Now, going back to what I said about anything other than those three things, we're going to have to say no to, because time and energy used on anything other than our vision weakens our vision. And I know, people, they'll come up to our staff members. They may come up to you because you're a servant leader, and they may say, hey, I got this great opportunity for New Hope International. You can make the church some money. How many of you heard that? I got a great business opportunity for the church, man. Okay, well, that's cool, but we're not doing that. We're here to create life change through our life groups, through our weekend experiences, and through Community Connect. And that's the thing, we got to understand, we have something unique here. We're not like other churches. We're not trying to be like other churches. We have a specific package that God has hand-delivered us that we're supposed to give to the world. We're not supposed to try and copy another church. We're not going to try and copy what other churches are doing. We're doing specifically what God has given us to do. And when you share that, you make a difference. When you tell people what's going on. And I would challenge you, if you're not doing that, you need to do it because it's making a difference. It's how we're going to bring people in. We're supposed to reach out, bring in, and build up. How are we ever going to build people up if they don't get brought in? We got to bring them in, and it happens through your word of mouth. And that's how people can come to understand what God's doing here. It's not about the name of the church, New Hope International. It's about God's name and what he's doing through New Hope International. So vision is a team sport. 4 words, and I can already see the wheels turning maybe of what I just said because I'm the pastor. I'm supposed to cast vision all the time. I'm the one that can cast vision. But 4 words that can bring vision to a halt and can stop our vision from ever going out these doors. That's not my job. Say it with me. That's not my job. How many times have you heard that? Too many, that's right. And just because you serve in one particular area of ministry doesn't mean you can't step over the line and help another ministry. Hey, when something's going on, we need the youth group's help. Can they come help us do this? Well, that's not my job. That's the usher's job. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of attitude limits our vision. And the vision stops right there with that person who said, that's not my job. Because the fact of the matter is, if you're a servant leader, it is your job. The answer to what your job is yes. That's the answer. Is that my job? Yes, it is. It's our job. You signed up to serve. Let's serve. Let's be super servers. I don't know. Let's serve. So anytime we ever get that attitude like, well, that's not my job. That's someone else's job. That's their job. Let them do it. And we step back and we're just like, I'm over here in my own little zone, in my own little section. And I'd just like to remove that attitude completely because that's not healthy for a church anyway. That's not my job. And you're carrying the vision whether you're aware of it or not. You're carrying it and you're casting it whether you're aware of it or not. Because every time you go into the community and people know you're a follower of Christ and they know that you're a servant leader at New Hope International and you've gone public with your relationship with Jesus, they are looking at you and how you're living, how you're acting, how you're speaking. We have to represent the body of Christ well because we are the body. If we're constantly talking and degrading and we don't like what's going on, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. If we're going to be here at New Hope International, let's love everything that New Hope International is doing. I'm not just talking about the Community Connect. I'm talking about everything. Like, everything is great. You know what I mean? You talk to the CEO of Starbucks, he loves everything about Starbucks. All right? There's nothing, well, I wish that would change. Oh, man. I'm talking about everything. We have to be like raving fans of everything that God's doing here at New Hope International, every part of it. Our kids department, it's freaking awesome. It's like Six Flags Over Jesus back there. Yeah, you need to bring your kids to Kid Planet. It is phenomenal. Our music, yes, it's awesome. It's awesome. You can see it. Some people, well, that's not my cup of tea. You know, I don't know if I can really lift my hands during that song because it's just, can we sing a hymnal or something? And that's just not the heartbeat of what God's called us to do. We're leading the way. We're leading the way. And it's not to be disrespectful to what God's done in the past. I recognize that, but he's wanting to do a new thing. Behold, I do a new thing. And that's what he's wanting to do. And you know it'd be great? I'm going to talk to the older people. I'm going to single you out for a second. Just go with me. It's when you're around your friends that are the same age, and they may step up and say, man, I just wish they would change that. I just don't like that. And you step up and say, no, you know what? I love it. I actually love it. I'm so bought in. I love what they're doing, man. They got all the young people involved. They're just using their gift for Jesus and not out there running around crazy. They're actually using it to build the church. Well, just think about that. Because a lot of churches have that problem. You get the older generation who likes it their way, but I don't think we have that here at New Hope. And even if we did, I'm so secure in our seasoned warriors. Yeah, seasoned warriors, make some noise. And just think what that does for the unity of the house. Think what that does for the teamwork of the house. When all ages are so engaged and just actually absolutely love what's going on. And people aren't sitting back, not liking the experience that happens here at New Hope International. Think of what that could do for the unity. Think of how much more freely God could use New Hope International if we all just, man, it's awesome. Yes, it's great. It may not be the way I would have done it, but I don't care. I just love being a part of it. And that's another thing that can halt vision. Well, I wouldn't have done it that way. Yeah, that's right, because it's not your vision. We're not going to do it your way. It's with God's way. And that's what he put New Hope International here for. We're not supposed to be normal cookie-cutter church. We're kind of in your face with stuff. And that's just how it is. That's just how it is. And we're okay with that. We're okay with that. We're going to teach sound biblical teaching. But we're going to be excited about what God's doing in our life. And we're going to express that any way we can. And that's just how having a heart for the house really is. So how do you get people to become like you are? You love New Hope International, right? You love what God's doing here, right? Yeah. So how do you multiply that attitude? How do you get other people to get that same kind of attitude? Well, we have to transition people this way. We have to transition people from simply benefiting from the vision to participating in the vision. All right? There's a lot of people that come in every week and they just benefit from the vision. They benefit from your serving. They benefit from you holding the door open for them. They benefit from our youth leaders taking time with their kids. They benefit from the nursery keeping their babies. They benefit from all these great services that we provide. So we got to transition people just from simply benefiting to participating in the vision. And we can only do that so much as the staff team here at New Hope. We can only do so much. But it's when those awesome, joyful, happy servant leaders are out there telling people, hey, you should come serve alongside me. You'll feel better. You'll just love it. There's no other environment like the one at New Hope International. You transition people from being, okay, well, I'll come try it out. I'll come try it out. And then they go from benefiting from to participating in. And you're going to hear this whole month of May what it really means to have a heart for the house. And really, it all goes back to serve. That's it. That's it. It goes back to serving. And what you're going to hear tomorrow, you want to be the greatest? You want to be the greatest person? You want to be the greatest? Really? Serve. Serve. So we take people from benefiting from to participating in. So constantly share those stories. The stories is what creates that interest. It creates people to want to come and engage. You know what I mean? Because we here as the staff leaders are here to equip you for the works of service. How many, did you tune in to the thing the other night on our website? Do you like that? Do you like when we have family night, but we have something you can tune into for just a few brief minutes? We don't try not to make it long. We just try to make it a brief, short, and sweet thing. And thank you so much. I want to say this. Thank you for how y'all are giving and tithing. That is awesome. Like, you don't understand. Like, we didn't have church the other night, and it was one of the best midweek giving nights ever. Are you trying to tell us something? I don't know. Yeah, yes, thank you. No, but it really means a lot. And it helps us as a team know that, hey, there are people here, whether the doors are open or not, they support this ministry. And I'm telling you, every time you give, every time you bring the tithe, every time you give a donation of some kind of item that we collect, it's making a difference. And we're only going to do more of that coming up in the future. And not only just here in our city, but around the world. You're going to have the opportunity to give to someone around the world, and you'll be able to give an item to them that they'll be able to use to change the world. The one coming up in June, I'm going to go ahead and tell them. The one coming up in June is you're going to have the opportunity to bring, if you have an old bike, a bike that you have at your house, you don't even ride, you can bring in that bike, and we're going to send those bikes to Africa, where pastors who are walking right now, traveling around to several different villages to preach the gospel, are going to be able to reach 4 times the amount of people now because they have a bike. They're going to be able to go and teach more people the gospel of Jesus Christ, to get more people saved because you brought in a bike. In Africa. Africa. Sorry. I had to do that. Was that Jamie Foxx who said? Okay. All right. Oh, sorry. Let me reel it back in. Reel it back in. Sorry, folks. Sorry. But we're going to be able to purchase bikes. Or you can bring in your bike and just donate your bike. And we're going to be able to reach more people through a bike. And there's going to be several other opportunities coming up through this organization we're going to be partnering with. And it's going to make a huge difference. So I just want to say thank you for being generous on all occasions. It is phenomenal. But back to the vision casting. And let me just say this too. I'm loving all the social media posts about one another. About seeing you're celebrating one another. That's awesome. That's what the church in Acts did. They loved one another so much that the outside world came up to the edge of their Christian culture, of their follower of Christ movement, and said, man, those people, they actually really love each other a whole lot. And it changed the world. Because the Bible says they were the ones that turned the world upside down just because of how they loved one another. Jesus said, people will know you're my disciples by how you love one another, not by how many scriptures you know, not by how well you can preach, not by how, all that stuff. It's by how much you love one another. That's how the world's going to know you're my followers. So thank you for doing that. Keep doing that. Keep putting the pictures up of one another, celebrating each other's success. That's another a part of the house. That's another variation of the heart for the house. That's what it really means, is to celebrate each other's success and to say this person is phenomenal at what they do. Because when you put it on social media, not only do I see it, but there's like 1,000 other people that are seeing it. People who don't know Christ are seeing how much we're just loving. This community of believers actually loves one another. We actually do what we say we believe in, And it makes a difference. It makes a difference because that's just where we're at right now in our world with technology. Jesus said we'll do greater things than him. And I think he already knew they're going to have Instagram. They'll be able to do greater things than I ever would, They'll be able to reach more people than I ever could, man. They're going to have something called the internet. John, you're not ready for that yet, John. You're not ready for the internet, the World Wide Web. It's going to change the game, you guys. It'll come centuries later. Don't even worry about it. But look, you are empowered and responsible. Because you're empowered, you are therefore responsible to protect the vision. Just think if we all could get on this focusing aspect of our vision and just focus, narrow it in to these three things that we just focused on so much. Think of the difference and the impact we could make. So, when those opportunities come up, when people come up, they show up and say, hey, can I do this thing? You know, we'd love to partner with you guys. Not saying we're not going to be givers, but we just can't do everything when it comes to, just having an event. We're not about just having an event. Everything we do has a meaning, and it needs to have a level of effectiveness behind it. We're not just going to do something just to do it. Everything we do is going to have the aspect of life change wrapped around it, because we want to see lives change for Jesus Christ, and we can't do that when our time and energy are being used on anything other than our vision. So I'll say it again. Time and energy used on anything other than our vision weakens our vision. And you're at your best when you're doing what you do best. And the church is at its best when you're doing what you do best. So let's protect the vision. Let's make it stronger. Let's keep celebrating one another. Keep giving. Keep bringing. And we got to step up and start inviting now. We're going to do something on Mother's Day. And I'll go ahead and tell you about it now. On Mother's Day, called the 311. 311. You're going to get a little card that has 3 little slots so you can write 3 people's names that you know of. Just 3 people. 3 people you know who maybe don't know Jesus, or they don't go to church anywhere. They gave church a try. They don't want to get involved with it anymore. But 3 people you know that you're going to write down. You're going to write 1, 2, 3. Write 3 names. And every day at 1 p.m., you're just going to pray for them for 1 minute. Now you may be like, that's kind of, what does that mean? It's just a way to keep it front and center in your mind, the 311. 3 people you're praying for 1 minute at 1 p.m. each day. Praying that God moves on their heart. God opens their eyes to see how great living for Jesus really is, and how phenomenal it can be when they come into contact with people who say they believe in Jesus Christ. And so that's what that little principle is going to be. And it's going to be something we're going to continue to do. It's not going to be just a month-long thing. It's going to be something that we're going to implement into our core. And when people they join the church and they become a team member, they're actually going to get this card, and that's going to be something that we're going to be responsible to do. 311. And it may take a long time for them to come in, to bring them into the body of Christ. It may take a short time. It doesn't matter. As long as we're praying for them and keeping people at the front and center of everything we do. Because that's what we're here for, is for people. Not here for a position. Not here to build our own kingdom. Laughing because inside joke with our staff, sorry. I'll tell that joke one day, but not right now. I've told enough already. But we're here for people, and that's what it's all about. And then starting tomorrow, we're doing something. We have you seen the big blue milk carton cross? We're going to be using that for the rest of time. The look of it may change. We're going to do it till Jesus comes. It may turn into a different station, but the whole point of that whole station there is people who have been saved in 2014, who have given their life to Jesus, can go up to that, and there's a card that says, I have decided. And it says, if you have decided to follow Jesus in 2014, please write your name. They write down their name, their email, because we want to get them in the starting point. But they're going to write down their name and all that stuff, and they're going to put the card in one of those crates, because we want to fill the cross up with people who've been getting saved all year. And we want to be able to tell you December 31st, 2014, before the new year comes, hey, this is the amount of people who came to know Christ in 2014. Because if we're not keeping count, I think it's important to keep count. You know, how did they know in Acts that 3,000 people were added to the church that day? How did they know? Somebody was going around, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you guys just group together? All right, like 30 people there. We got to keep count, and we got to keep track, because we're going to be held accountable for that one day. And I want to be able to have a number that we can celebrate. You know, so that's what that station is going to be for. So if you know of someone who's gotten saved and received Jesus in 2014, tell them to go up to that station and just write their name and put it in one of those things. It's just a cool thing that we are using to keep track of how many people are being saved. I think that's pretty awesome. So